Welcome to the Haddonfield Horrors podcast, where we review horror movies and horror movie franchises. And today we're reviewing Halloween Kills. I'm your host, Mark, the horror movie fanboy.
And I'm Kennedy, the horror movie noob.
Halloween Kills, better known as Halloween, Evil Dies Tonight. This is our first time discussing a horror movie that's currently in theaters. But before we get into that, Candy, can you give them a plot summary?
The nightmare isn't over as unstoppable killer Michael Myers escapes from Laurie Strode's trap to continue his ritual bloodbath. Injured and taken to the hospital, Laurie fights through the pain as she inspires residents of Haddonfield, Illinois to rise up against Myers. Taking matters into their own hands, the Strode women and other survivors form a vigilante mob to hunt down Michael and end his reign of terror once and for all.
So, Halloween Kills, with the Evil Dies Tonight slogan. What did you think? What were your overall opinions on this movie?
Ooh, my opinions are. I think I enjoyed the movie overall. I liked it, but I recognize that it has many, many flaws, like Halloween H2O. Okay, so that's not like a. So I'm not saying that it's like a flawless, perfect movie. No, I think I shut my brain off. Maybe because of the flashback, because I love the flashback scene so much. It's like covering like all the flaws of this movie for me to give it a pass. But yeah, those are my general thoughts of the film so far.
I love the flashbacks. I hate the rest of the movie. And there are parts of this movie that I enjoyed, but overall, I don't like it. The flashbacks were amazing. I have my opinions on the new and approved the Loomis ad, but we'll get there. But you see what I would have been okay with instead of Halloween 2018. There is so much like dead space in between like Halloween 4. Well, if they kept going off the Halloween H2O timeline, there are so many years between Halloween 3 and Halloween 2 and Halloween H2O, where they could have like had an entire movie be like in between that time. It could have been a complete flashback movie. It could have been set in like the late 70s or the 80s, where he's fighting other people as he's still looking and tracking down Laurie. Or it could have been like they could have just CGI'd Jamie Lee Curtis, and it could have been still set in between that time. It just they could have done anything, and the fact that we were promised in 2018, but they were going back to basics. That Michael was just going to be a human. All that magical, mystical, culty thorn shit was out of the picture. All the shit that everyone hated from Resurrection, all that was gone. He was just a regular human. And when you get this movie and you're hearing shit like it's kismet or every time he kills he gets stronger. You literally watch this man get stuck in the neck with a fucking rake and he doesn't die. He gets shot, he gets beaten,
Well, he
and
gets stomped on the head too on the stairs, and he
yeah,
gets
and it
shot like 6 times in like the upper chest area.
yeah, and it's like he's supposed to be human again. This isn't what I was promised back in 2018. And if I'm being honest, the fact that this is a sequel to that movie is completely crazy because they don't even feel like, let's say, they feel like two completely different movies. This was less slasher and more like one of those conspiracy theory movies that came out during like the Cold War, when like, is our neighbor an alien? Who's the alien? Who can't be trusted? Who do we have to look out for? Let's go hunt them down. That's what it felt like. Felt like I was watching The Wicker Man.
So, what were the circumstances of you watching this movie? Because we have different circumstances, right? So you actually saw it in the theater. Tell me a little bit of that experience.
Yeah, I was on vacation in Florida on Thursday, October 14th, when the movie came out in previews in theaters. I was actually at Universal Studios, and they have a movie theater at the City Walk, the Cinemark. So I was like, I have time to kill. You know, the park closes at 10 at 9, and there's a movie that was starting at 9:30, and I was like, why not? New movie theater, new experience. So it wasn't packed. There were I want to say a little over half of the theater was full. Everyone was
Mm.
excited. I could definitely tell by the faces when we was over that, like me, most people didn't enjoy it. The biggest applause we got was doing this when they played the Scream trailer. When they played the Scream trailer and when Cameron died, was the most reaction that the entire theater had. Besides that, everyone was just like silent, and the people who were next to me were just like they kept on saying, "What the fuck is this movie?" So that was enjoyable. How about you? How did you watch it?
Yeah, so I actually watched it here at my house at 11 p.m. because that's at the time that it came on Peacock. I was super excited. I was counting down the time. I actually saw about the first 40 minutes with my mom. So I started watching. I got to the flashback portion, and my mom was going to sleep, but I was like, "Come watch the movie. Come watch the movie, just for the flashback, just for the flashback." And then I think we got up to the point where Michael kills Diva and the guy with sleep apnea, but I was hyped, all right, and you know, going through my first watch of the movie, I still enjoyed it, and I was like, man, I feel like I would have enjoyed this a little better if I was in the theater. Again, not to say that I don't agree with your problems with the movie because I still recognize it has flaws. I still liked it because I'm a filthy casual, okay? But
Uh,
I would have wanted to have seen it with the fans. Uh, it wasn't until like Monday evening where people were posting, "Oh, I got early screenings for Halloween Kills for Tuesday." And I was like, "Dang, they actually had an early screening of it at AMC River East." So I was like, so that would have been cool. At
oh
least that would have been what.
that I knew about because one of the podcasts I listened to, they were actually there, and they were like there were like four people besides the four of them who were at the screening, and I was like, damn, that'd have been amazing to go to.
Mm, yeah, yeah, that's just this is a movie that you have to experience in the theater, and I know you didn't like it. One of my favorite movie review guys actually said that it was that he really enjoyed it in the theater. Um, but I mean, I only think it's worth it if I went to go see it with like the hardcore fans. Like just seeing it on like a Monday morning, I probably
And
wouldn't
I
want to
feel
go see
like
it.
and I feel like that's why it was different for me because I feel like everyone who was there were just like because we pretty much everyone who was there doing a whole like pre trailer trailers with like Maria Menounos and all that shit.
Ah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
everyone was talking about, oh my god, like this is my favorite franchise. Everyone was talking about like their like different like movies and different like scenes and different movies and shit. So they were like, these are some hardcore fans, and they were already talking about like they can't wait for Scream to come out next. I was talking to someone about like how we're getting Michael, we're getting Ghostface, we're getting Pinhead. Like all we need is Freddy and Jason, and we're back. And then Chucky's out, and it's like all we need is Freddy and Jason, and it's
Mm,
like. And the guy was older than me. He was like, it feels like the '80s are coming back with all the slashers at the forefront, and we just all we're missing is Freddy and Jason. I was like, yes. I was like, one of the things I always said is that I wish I was alive in the '80s as a horror fan when there was a
mm,
sequel coming out every year or two, and
yeah.
I was like, now we're getting that because all the big stars are out except for Freddy and Jason, and I was definitely in the midst of like hardcore slasher horror movie fans, so that kind of like
So it means a
it
lot
didn't.
when you say it that room was dead, huh?
It was dead, and I was like, this is not. And then I listened to like other podcasters who are like hardcore slasher fans, and they were all like, yeah, we were in the theater like going through like different stages of disbelief, and I was like, I get you because I went with a friend, and he's not like a fan. I think he's only seen H2O. So when he was like, yeah, after the first like 30 minutes, I was bored, and he's like, the flashbacks were cool because I do because he was seeing H2O and he's seeing the original. So he was like, the flashbacks were cool, but he was like, besides that, I didn't. He's like, I thought this was a slasher movie. What the fuck was all this hysteria going on? I was like, that's where I'm at right now.
I disagree with people calling it boring though, because like Michael is killing people left and right.
It
how's that
wasn't.
boring?
I didn't find it boring. I just find like it disconnected from the movie before, and it just disconnected from the franchise overall. And I'm the guy who hates Halloween 3 because Michael's not in it. But that movie
This is the
felt
movie that where
more.
we gotten the most Michael in a movie, so I don't
It
see how
was,
people
and
can call it boring.
I think it was too much. Michael Myers is not. Michael Myers is the shape. He's the camera angles. He's the stalking in the shadows. I'm just like, we're seeing too much to him. And that scene where everyone saw him without his mask, I was like, I'll save that. But before we move on, do you remember the predictions you gave in our last episode?
Oh, I was like, oh, is Karen or Lori gonna die? I think was one of
Yeah.
them.
Did any of your predictions come true? Because for me, I was sure Karen was gonna die. She was the odd strode out. I was like, it has to be her.
All right, so let's talk about that. All right, because I didn't want to give any definitive answer, which is why I was kind of vague in that episode. But so there was actually a leak like a while ago of this
Oh,
of the
that.
original script.
Oh, about her being killed. See, I didn't know anything about that because I heard a podcast doing like a trailer breakdown, and I was like, they mentioned they're like, spoilers. We're going to talk about a leaked script, and I know that the leak was she was going to die, and Lori was going to call her, and Mike was going to pick up the phone, and
Yes,
they're
yes.
going to reenact that whole breathing scene from the first movie. I'm glad they cut that shit out because Michael Myers has been locked up for 40 years. He doesn't know what the fucking cell phone is. He doesn't know how to swipe right.
Hey, you're actually really that's actually true. Yeah. There was speculation that that people were saying that they actually changed the ending because Karen wasn't actually dead. Because in the original ending, it's pretty decisive that like Lori calls Karen and like Michael's the one that picks up. Okay, so there's a can I talk about this about a little bit about the leaked ending, the original one? So in the
The movie's
original,
out. Go ahead.
in the original, well, if you notice from the teasers, there's a scene that they show where like Lori's walking down the hospital lobby with a knife in her hand. That was going to be the final shot of the original movie because like she calls she calls Karen and Michael. You hear Michael breathing, and she's like, "Oh, you fucking bitch! I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get my revenge." Hangs up, and then she's walking out of the hospital with the knife. But now Halloween ends. They changed. I guess they changed Halloween ends. I don't know if you've seen the recent information from interviews with David Gordon Green, but now the movie takes place 4 years after this movie, and it's gonna address the COVID pandemic.
Yeah, that
It's
and like the
weird.
police brutality shit. I was like, it's like this isn't Halloween. This is not Get Out. You
Exactly.
don't do political crap in Halloween. What
Halloween
the
isn't
fuck?
where you talk about COVID, but so people have been speculating like is the ending even real or is it all like Laurie's vision or Karen's vision? Because I don't know if you noticed in the movie if you watch it like there's something weird there going on with Karen where she's like looking at the window.
And
It
she
w- there,
see kids. She said she see 6-year-old Michael.
No, that too. But earlier on in the movie, she's in the hospital and she's like looking at the window, and then like everything just like kind of goes black around her, like slightly more tinted. And and then she like walks back to grab like Laurie's hand, and then at the end, like you just said, where she's like she looks up the window and she sees 6-year-old Michael, and then when she goes upstairs to his room, it's like the same thing that happened at the hospital is like what you see in that scene too before Michael kills her. So from pretty reputable people that are like huge Halloween fans, they're saying like, "Oh, actually, I don't even think that Karen's dead. This might all just be like a vision that Laurie has or that Karen has." Um, and like that's why they even changed the ending because the ending would have been a little bit more decisive in regards to like, yeah, everybody died. Whereas this one is like a little bit more ambiguous. Like is it actually possible that like that Tommy and Brackett might still be alive? I think there's still a like higher likelihood that Karen might still be alive. That part was imagined, and like maybe the other guys are dead actually. But yeah, I think I don't know what to expect for the next one really because if
Me,
these
me
people that
either.
yeah
It's so up in the air. There's so like the way it ended left so many questions, and then having all these information about the time jump and COVID, it's like you're gonna jump. So Michael's gonna be on the loose for 4 years. Like I don't get it. I don't. Eh.
and I was also surprised that they killed Cameron. And I was like, this is not a dude that you kill in like the second movie.
I saw that coming because people hated him after how he treated Allison in the first movie. So I saw that coming. That was definitely some fan service there. I hated that his best friend's mom.
I think that he redeemed himself in this movie though.
We'll get to Karen, but I hate that his best friend's mom like saw her son's body by accident during that big like mess of a scene. And
Oh, we'll
speaking
get
of scenes, yeah,
yeah, no,
we'll
yeah,
get
go
to
ahead,
that.
go ahead.
But I think my only prediction that came true because I was under I thought I predicted that Laurie and Karen were gonna die. Yeah, I made two predictions. One was that Laurie and Karen were gonna die, and Allison was gonna take over, which I feel like should have happened, especially given that we barely eat. Laurie served no purpose, so. But I knew Karen was gonna die. Like I wasn't surprised. I was just waiting for it to happen. Because I was like, there are three Strodes. You can't keep all three of them for the next movie as well. That won't be satisfying. I was like, Laurie is the Halloween franchise, and if they want to make movies past Halloween ends, Allison is the one to lead it. You don't need Karen. Like
Mhm.
when I gotta think about it, Karen had to go. Did I think Tommy was gonna die? Did I think yes, I knew that either Tommy or Lindsay was gonna die. I didn't think Lonnie was gonna have like a big presence in it. I'm mad he's dead, but
He had a
are
I
there
think he definitely had a bigger role than Lindsay and almost even a bigger role than Tommy.
yeah.
I liked Lonnie more than I did Tommy in this movie. But I'm sure we'll get to that later, but yeah.
Lonnie did more in this movie than Laurie did, if I'm being honest. But
Oh yeah.
are there let's talk about the scenes. Are there any scenes that you liked or disliked?
Well, I mean, number one, the flashback sequence, I absolutely enjoyed. I think I've seen that part like over and over and over again, just because I do think that they did an excellent job. Um,
Thomas Mann as young Hawkins, amazing.
oh, Thomas, man, I think um, Doctor Loomis, whatever they did, I know that they had a look-alike, but I still think that they might have tweaked his face a little bit. But I thought that
Yeah,
they
he
did a
had
hell of a job.
prosthetics. They had prosthetics, and they also put a little like CGI over it to make it look more like him.
Well, they
I
did.
just hated that. I hated that glow that was around him, though. But besides that, all the flashback scenes were great, especially with like this. The I don't know if it was like CGI, but the OG mask, I was like,
Yeah.
this looks great. And they had the stunt coordinator play young Michael in those scenes, and I was like,
Oh,
this is
really?
great. This should have just been the movie. If I'm being honest,
I would have been down if that was just the whole movie. Just Doctor Loomis chasing around Michael. That would have been pretty cool, actually. I would totally buy that. But yeah, that entire sequence. I think the general consensus, even from like the hardest of hardcore fans who who even hate this movie, are saying that the flashback sequence was like the best part. easily.
They were great. A lot of thought went into them.
Yeah, I did. What else did I like? Michael killing Diva and the guy with the sleep apnea. Um, killing when he killed that guy, like that was pretty brutal. Where he just kept like grabbed the knife, stabbed him, another knife, stabbed him, another knife, stabbed him.
I love that scene because when you're seeing Michael like take a knife and keep stabbing him, you're it's not like a clear shot of him.
Yeah,
It's
true.
like blurry because you're focused more on her reaction to her husband die as like right before she dies, and I was like, damn,
Yeah.
this is deep. It was actually really good. I was like, okay, I like that shot. I
Well, the ending, the little like fight that they had with Michael, I thought was it was still satisfying, like just seeing get his ass whooped.
I
Um,
hated the editing for that. The editing was weird. I hate how they had that set.
oh, almost completely forgot one of the most intense parts of the movie was when Michael's chasing Lindsay. That whole little sequence was awesome. Because I was actually
After they
thinking, I was actually thinking, no way, they're actually gonna kill Lindsay too. Like,
after
I
they had
wouldn't be
just killed
surprised.
Miriam, after they had just killed Miriam, I was like, they're not going to kill Lindsay. And then she survives, and then we never see her fucking again because she gets wheeled into the hospital, and then we never see Lindsay again. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what are some scenes that you liked because I know it might be tougher for you because you didn't really like this movie.
Scenes that I liked. I love the flashbacks, just like you. Uh, the scenes with this is bad. Jesus Christ. I like the early on bar scenes. Like before
Really?
like yeah, Tommy's speech was cringy, but I was like, okay, seeing Tommy and Lindsay and Miriam together and Lonnie, the four of them together, still stuck in my head. Like, how the fuck does Miriam know them? They were kids in
Yeah,
that first
yeah,
movie. So I was like, whatever. Besides that, okay, but I liked seeing the four of them together. I liked that whole like bar scene. I like that we were introduced to like new characters who we'd be like seeing throughout the movie, and I like the fact that the couple, the husband and wife couple, who were the doctor and nurse, we saw them in 2018. So I was like, okay, I'm enjoying this. I enjoyed
yeah.
that part, and there are more scenes that I hated. There's a scene that I liked, and also I super fucking hated at the same time because it wasn't necessary. It didn't need to be in the movie, but when like watching it, it made me like I was like, why am I feeling like emotion? Like I want to cry watching a fucking Halloween movie, and that's the scene with the mental patient when they were
Oh
like
yeah,
chasing that
man.
poor man down and trying to attack him. I'm like, why am I ready to cry? Like the close ups on his face when he's like, help me. He kept on saying help me, and then he ran away because they were chasing him, and then to go from that and him realizing like, oh my god, they're gonna fucking kill me. So then he killed himself, and I'm like, what the fuck?
What did I just watch in a Halloween movie?
I was like, why am I sad? Why I was like, I'm sad, I'm mad because this entire subplot was not fucking needed. You did not have to kill like this poor man just killed himself because these fucking vigilantes of a town, fucking Tommy Wallace. You did all of that, Tommy, and you still got killed by the real Michael, which pisses me off. But there are more scenes that I hate. Starting with that one, I have a love hate relationship with that scene. But the ones I absolutely hate, I hate the opening kill with the fireman. The
Oh,
whole opening
that
scene,
was the most
like
brutal, like the toughest to watch. Just
it was, cause like this bitch built this trap for Michael for him to burn, and all he had to do was hide behind the metal door for the weapons to be free of the flames and survive.
yeah.
I was like, the fuck is that? That's whack. Um, I hated all the hospital scenes.
Yeah,
they were all
the general consensus at the hospital, it's one of the weakest subplots.
another scene that I hated because it makes no sense was the flashback when they showed Sheriff Brackett crying over his daughter's dead body. Because that's from Halloween 2. A movie, according to the last movie, doesn't fucking exist. So why are we using scenes from movies that don't exist?
Yeah.
Also, Sheriff Brackett was there for no fucking reason. So, and then the scene at Michael's house with the married couple, Big John, Little John. Big John, Little John. I was over it.
And he's like singing that cringy ass song like that he's playing on his vinyl too.
Yeah, and I forgot. There's a scene I do like, and that is the scene in the park with Lindsay when he. I didn't like how he killed Miriam and the couple, but like that whole like setup with it, like Michael killed another kid. Like that whole park scene was actually pretty enjoyable.
Yeah.
Are there any scenes that you didn't like?
Scenes that well, everything with the hospital for sure. It just dragged because like Glory isn't given anything to do. This is one of those sequels where like you can't you can't like you have nothing for your character, but you know they can't die, so they have them just do some lame stuff that really doesn't contribute anything to the story. Um, and what else? Scenes I didn't like when Michael like in Friday the 13th the video game when you enter rage mode and you're like invincible to like everything. Like that's like when Michael went into rage mode at the end after getting like 20 shots like on his upper chest and like beaten to crazy like Karen literally stabbed him like probably at a part of a spinal cord where you probably don't come back from, where you probably lose, where you probably become a quadriplegic, and he just like pulls out the knife and like just starts killing people. And I'm gonna say basically what you said earlier. Like, it looks cool in the moment that you're watching it without any context. But then you remember, wait, I thought this movie was trying to pay tribute to 1978. I thought the whole point of this movie was that we're going to remove all the lore of Michael Myers. We're going back to the original John Carpenter vision that he's just a guy, the boogeyman. He could be anybody, you know. But now he became Jason Voorhees from part 6. Like, he got, like, lightning from, after Tommy Jarvis impaled him with the rod and the lightning hit him, and now he's like a demon. Like, we're going back to everything that they did anyways. Um, so it looks cool. Don't get me wrong, it looks cool. But this isn't supposed to be that version of Michael. Like if it was part 6 Michael or part 5 Michael, I guess. Like I guess it'll be less annoying because it's like, well, yeah, it's that version of Michael. We're going for the unstoppable tank monster Jason Voorhees Michael version and not the part 1 or part 2 Michael where he's still human with like a supernatural edge to his character. So like you never there's definitely something going on there, but it was never like concrete. But now it's just like, yeah, you could shoot him in the face like dead on in his brain and he'll just like stand back up again. So that was probably that's a frustrating scene as a fan. You and I are both stands of like the Michael and Laurie story. So for them to not consider that at all, for them to not make that canon for this timeline, but then go back to like the same mechanics of Michael anyways, is like, bruh, it's weaker. It's weaker. And that they messed up when a horror YouTuber that I watch, one of the biggest Halloween, he's a Halloween 1978 purist. Like he's like, yeah, I like Halloween too, but I still like the original, the best one, and like the original vision. Like that they messed up when this guy is like, guys, we might as well like have made Halloween 2 canon because it doesn't make sense like that. The whole town all of a sudden hates Michael Myers
Right?
for
That
no
man,
reason.
he killed three teenagers in 1978. He killed three teenagers. They always forget about the fucking because he killed that mechanic outside of town, and he killed his sister almost a decade before. So it's like there is no only people who should be like traumatized, like Miriam and Miriam and Lindsay, Lonnie, and Lori, Tommy. All of them have reason to like rise up against, like
Yeah.
raise against the machine. Oscar's mom and everyone else who died in the first one, they probably aren't even aware that their loved ones were killed by Michael Myers.
Yeah.
That's still like developing news. And okay, yeah, he murdered the firemen, but like that just happened. You guys would be running in fear, not an armed militia. Like this movie went from 0 to like 100 quick as fuck, and it was like whiplash inducing. I was like, what the fuck? This doesn't happen,
And why did the whole town go to the hospital? How did the whole town
right?
end up at the hospital? Like, how?
And it still makes me mad because Tommy even said in his speech at the beginning at the bar, he was like, half of you are too young to know of Michael Myers, and half of you have probably forgotten. Like, yes. So why the fuck is everyone ready to like chase this poor mental patient down because they think he's Michael Myers? Like, I don't fucking get it.
Who's like 4 feet tall, by the way. Like, no disrespect, but this dude is like like a solid like 3 feet, like shorter than
Like, you
Michael.
shrink when you get older, but you don't shrink that much. He like Tommy. He was tall as fuck when you were a kid. Like, I, okay, but whatever. Let's move on to characters. Let's talk about Laurie.
Oh,
What'd you think of Laurie in this movie?
oh, oh, Lord. I mean, they try to give her character development with her and Hawkins. They clearly have a history, but overall, like I said before, they had to keep her alive for the next one, but they were like, you can't be involved with Michael at any point. We just have to give you something to do for before we get to the next one, and
The
it
fact that
was a huge waste.
she was at the hospital the entire movie, which is a homage to like Halloween 2. But in Halloween 2, the last like 30 minutes, it was her against Michael. But in this entire movie, she doesn't see Michael once. She's running into people who have ran into Michael, but she hasn't run into Michael. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? I mean, at least we got a Ben Tramer mention. Hawkins was like, yeah, I wanted you, but you always had the hots for Ben Tramer.
Yeah.
So that I was like, yeah, but besides that, Laurie did nothing. What about Karen?
Cameron?
Karen,
Oh, Karen. You know what? I like Karen. I don't have any like negative feelings towards her. I actually kind of felt bad because she's like, well, maybe not the most logical person, but like no one pays attention to her in this whole movie. And but like I said, I think that there's something more to Karen than we think. There's doubts towards her death. Maybe she's the key to killing Michael. Um, so we'll see how what happens in Halloween ends. Maybe she is dead. If she is dead, I think it's unfortunate because I kind of like Judy Greer. She was actually one of the smarter characters in this movie. I think she was a lot more level headed than Tommy Doyle was. I was about to say Tommy Jarvis. Tommy Doyle, and clearly more level headed than most of the crowd. I actually thought it was really badass when she stopped when she stabbed Michael with the rake, and then like kicked his head in on the stairs. Um, but then I thought like, dude, like keep stabbing him. Why are you just like you stabbed him once with the rake and then like grab his mask off immediately and run like. But I guess it.
the gotcha scene, I was like, You said gotcha last time, and that trap didn't work. So that was just spelling bad news. Like gotcha. I was like, "Ugh, we're doing this again. I'm like, why are we repeating the same beat from the last movie? Do something completely different. Why are we still like tricking him within the last like 20 minutes? Like,
Yeah, but I guess we'll see if she's actually dead or not because again, I have my doubts. If people in the hardcore fans in the community have their doubts, then I'm gonna have my doubts too. Because why else would they change the ending? Um, and then I think people were saying that David Gordon Green said that their vision for Halloween Ends wouldn't be possible if they kept the original ending of the movie. So, you know, I think it's ambiguous for a reason. Like, is it all really just the vision that Laurie has in her head? Because she's even saying, like, there's even like a little monologue by Laurie where she's like, "Oh, you can't beat Michael with pure strength. You have to beat him with something else, I guess." Right as she's like killing Karen and killing the townspeople. So it might just be a vision by Laurie, like thinking like is that like Michael's ultimate power? Like is this what I'm not supposed to do for the next movie? So we'll see. We'll see.
what about Allison?
I liked Allison. Um,
I feel like she needed more to do. She was just like around in each season, in each scene, and the scene where Cameron dies, I'm like, you heard the shots, you heard him scream. Why did it take you so long to get out to the fucking hallway? Why did you have to turn off the music before you went to go help your boyfriend? Like what?
I liked her though. She has balls. She has balls. She's like, I'm gonna fucking kill Michael Myers. He's haunted this town for way too long. Time to get revenge. So I think in that regard, she's tough. She's tough as hell. I like her. I like Allison. You can't go wrong with Allison, but I still don't think I still don't think she's like legendary final girl material yet, though. Maybe in the next movie.
I don't know. I didn't enjoy it. I don't. She was good. I just feel like she needed more to do. Now the next character, Hawkins. Present day Hawkins was in the hospital unconscious the entire time. Did no purpose. He had little flirty scenes with Laurie, but besides that, nothing.
Yeah.
Young Hawkins in a flashback, I loved every minute. I love Young
Yes.
Hawkins.
Yeah. Same here. I guess it's crazy to think that he survived the first movie. He got stabbed by Sartain like in his neck, and then Sartain actually drove over his body. But the wound that they were caring for was only his neck. I'm pretty sure he had like some bruised ribs too. I'd actually have to watch it over. Maybe they did mention it or something. But I mean, I'm glad he survived because I liked him in the first movie. I'm definitely glad he survived, and clearly he's going to be an important character in the final movie as well. Um,
It was definitely some re-edits because he was dead as fuck in 2018, and I feel like they went back and they made it because there was also way more blood in 2018,
mhm.
and I was like they changed some shit to like
Yeah,
justify him not being dead, but okay. But I love Young Hawkins.
yeah, I like Hawkins too.
Like overall, the character was great.
Glad he's still alive.
I was hoping that he was Karen's dad, but I still think it's Ben Tramer. So
Hmm. Which we haven't
he-
they mention
hell,
him
we, we
in this
we
movie,
might see
but
Ben
it's
we
like
might see Ben
no one said.
Tramer
But
in the next movie.
yeah,
What about let's get to Tommy. I know how much you love Tommy in this movie.
no, I didn't. I didn't. I like the actor. I don't like this version of Tommy though, because he's like typical like guy that 40 years after traumatic events, he's like still like super traumatized and talking every minute of the story. Um, what else? I think he was incredibly reckless in this movie. like way too reckless. Like I'm gonna kill Michael. I'm gonna kill Michael. It on it like with him basically causing the death of that mental patient. It made him into a heel almost. Like because of that, you knew he had to die. Like the reason why that mental patient died was in large part because of Tommy. Um. So yeah, he was way too reckless. And
I liked him at the beginning. I was like, okay, he's gonna be the one that take charge and like get the shit done. But the more he was around, I was like, what the fuck is Tommy doing? What the fuck is Tommy? And then that fucking slogan they kept on saying, "Evil dies
Evil dies
tonight."
tonight, which was
I was like,
everyone is saying
what?
is super cringe.
Everyone was saying it. Everyone like, fuck this.
I mean, if honestly, it's hard to say like which version of Tommy was better, either the Paul Rudd version or this one. Paul Rudd's version was a little bit like on the creepier side, but I still think he was more true to the character than this one was. I think
Yeah.
like it wasn't like super traumatized
My
PTSD. He
question
was
my question for him my question for him and Lindsay, why the fuck are they still in fucking this town? If y'all are so affected by what happened to y'all 40 years ago, why do you still live here?
yeah.
I get why Lonnie's here. Lonnie's so fucked up that he became a town drunk. That I believe. But for all three of them to be living here
Hmm.
and for Miriam to be here, like, I didn't like Tommy. I thought Tommy was bad in the I he was uncomfortably creepy and Curse, but it made sense. He was traumatized and he was fixated on Michael. This one he came off as one of the people who stormed the Capitol building.
Yeah. True.
That's the vibe I was getting from this guy, and I was like, I don't like this.
Dude, that I think that's like the best way to describe Tommy in this movie. You're on point with that. True. Yeah,
And what about Miriam?
I didn't like
Oh.
Tommy's interpretation either. I like the actor though. I'm sure that you also like the actor.
I'm a big because I love '80s movies, and he was one of John Hughes's like Brat Pack kids. He was in Breakfast Club. He was in a lot of big movies that I
He
liked.
was
So yeah,
also
I like
in
the actor.
16 Candles, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he was. He was in Breakfast Club. He was in 16 Candles. Um, he was in some. He was he was in Weird Science,
Weird
which I
Science.
fucking
That's where
love.
I know him from. Yeah.
I love Weird Science. And he also had a TV show in the early 2000s.
Mm.
Dead Zone, I think it was called. I only watched a few episodes. I wasn't a real big fan. I
Hmm.
mean, I was aware of it because I'm an Anthony Michael Hall fan, but yeah, I saw like a bunch of like his movies from the 80s.
Hmm.
Johnny Be Good, all of that. I love him in National Lampoon. He was in The Dark Knight. He played one of the mobsters.
Oh, he was in The Dark
Uh,
Knight.
and then what was that movie? What was that? Yeah, The Dead Zone that ran from like 2002 2007.
Hmm.
So like yeah, so I've seen most of the stuff that he was in. So I just did not like how I don't like how Tommy was written. That's what it is. The acting is fine. How he was written on the page,
Hmm.
trash. And now I want to talk about Miriam because there was no need for her to be in this movie. Because why the fuck is she friends with Tommy and Lindsay?
Exactly. Exactly. I did think of that for a second. I was like, I'll buy into it just for the movie, but I guess
And then
logically,
the whole car scene, they literally recreated her first interaction with Michael completely. I'm like, why are we completely recreating that fucking car scene? It made no sense to me.
yeah.
With the whole him, like, why is this old ass man climbing on top of this car to just scare her the same way again? Just to take her out and kill her. And then that whole scene with him like setting up the bodies and putting on the mask from he put the mask on them, and those are the masks from part 3. And I'm like, now you're putting on the mask in part 3. Like, I don't understand. Like, y'all keep on saying how y'all don't like the sequels, how they're all bad, but yet you keep fucking referencing them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't fucking get it. What did you think? What did you think about Miriam's return? Actually, to be honest, her everything she did in H2O, her death scene in H2O was way much better and deserving than this.
Yeah, I think it paid a lot more respect to her character, the way that she died and defending herself from Michael. And everyone is saying that line that she says where she's pointing the gun at Michael and she's like, "This is for Dr. Loomis." Was just a very cringy line, and I don't think it was delivered very well.
But we don't know what happened to Loomis. As far as we knew from the last movie, he died of natural causes.
Yeah,
So did he
I
not?
think that's safe enough to assume, but like why would it be for Dr. Loomis if like Michael
You know,
never
like
killed
what
him
the fuck
or
happened?
anything? But like just the line in general was delivered a little bit cringy. And I was nice to see her, don't get me wrong, and I think a lot of people will agree that like I mean, we're never going to say no to the OG characters, but it's a shame to bring her back, have her die in H2O, even though it was a very memorable and like respectable death to her character, only to bring her back to kill her again in a worse way than in H2O.
And yeah, I have nothing else to say. They did her wrong. Did we talk about Lindsay?
We didn't, no, not yet.
Well, let's talk about Lindsay. First of all, more so than I feel like Lindsay, we should have had a scene with Lindsay and Lori seeing each other. Because we have a scene with Tommy and Lindsay, but I needed one. I mean, with Tommy and Lori, but I needed one with Lindsay and Lori. She was also part of that trio that survived Michael that night, and just like
I agree.
she was there for like 3 scenes and then gone. I guess they couldn't get Kyle Richards for more than a couple days because I mean she's a real housewife. She was filming her reality show at the same time, so she also broke her nose on set.
Did she?
I couldn't tell what scene that was though. I was like, is that from Halloween Ends? Cause I don't see how you broke your nose in this one.
Well, maybe that scene where like she gets slammed on the car by Michael, I guess.
It's probably I think that's what it was then. But I did like how actually Lindsay was like the main thing I liked in this movie because her character was the only one that seemed believable.
Mhm.
Like everything she did, even like when she seen Michael like attack people, she filled a candy bag full of like stones, and she like cracked him upside the head with them. Like that's believable. And then she ran away. Did he end up attacking her, or was she like? Because when they came back to her, when Tommy and them found her, she looked like she had been attacked by Michael. But I was like, were you attacked, or were you just like under there hiding? I was
I'm gonna assume that
confused.
she was just hiding and she like it was like a swampy sort of area, like a lake or so. I think she just got dirty when she was there.
Yeah, because they're trying to make it seem like she was attacked, and I was like, I don't, like, why did he keep her alive if he attacked her? I was like, that
Hmm.
makes no sense. But what do you think of Lindsay?
Yeah, I mean, I liked her. Um, I think Kyle Richards. I don't think she's like a full-on actress anymore, but I still think she did a really good job. Very respectable performance. She was a lot
I
more
think she
involved.
lived.
Like you said, like she's a rich housewife now, and she's over here like it might have not been her doing the stunt, like the crazy choke on the car, but it was still good. She was still, I think she did a good job.
I think Lindsay survived and Tommy died is because this is actually our first time seeing Lindsay since that first movie.
Hmm.
Like we had like a little small uncredited cameo in like part 4, but that doesn't count. But but we had a full movie with Tommy already, Halloween 6.
Halloween 6.
So now this is the first time we're seeing an adult version of Lindsay. So no, you can't kill her right away. We've already had our weird Tommy movie. We can kill we can kill off Tommy. But yeah, I enjoyed Lindsay. I also enjoyed Lonnie more than I thought I would. And I love the fucking Lonnie flashback. And I was like, this is why he's here. He had an encounter with Lonnie. And the fact that Lonnie and Tommy were friends, I
Oh
was like,
yeah.
I'm enjoying this. I'm like, why am I fucking enjoying Lonnie? Get your ass away from there. Like what the I couldn't believe how much I was enjoying him.
Yeah.
What'd you think of Lonnie?
Yeah, I liked him more. I liked him so much more than Tommy. I think he was a lot more he was more level-headed. Uh he's a changed man now, obviously not fighting with Tommy or anything. One of the funnier scenes was when he opens the trunk of his car and it's like all those guns there, and then Tommy's like, "Do you have a permit for these?" And then he's like, "Yeah, for most of them." But um, yeah, he was basically the movie's gun supplier. Um, it I think it would have been cool to see his death. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see it because it looked like it was a very gruesome death. Uh,
I loved Cameron's reaction to him. Like, Dad?
like the blood dripping from the ceiling, and then
Yeah.
Michael just pops out like power walking towards Cameron. Oh shit!
You
But
know, my favorite Lonnie scene is when they're driving and he's like talking to Allison about like his friendship with her dad and how they were
yeah.
smoking together once and he was like, your dad's a good guy. I never did drugs with him again. I was like, see, this is making me fucking like Lonnie. I was like, this this asshole bully character from part one who wasn't really in the movie. Now you're fleshing him out so much and you're making him enjoyable.
Yeah,
But I fucking hate Tommy, and like we all have a connection with Tommy because of the first movie and because of Curse. We have a connection with Tommy, but we don't like him. But I'm fucking enjoying Lonnie.
exactly.
They should have killed Cameron and kept Lonnie alive, in my opinion.
I'm on,
That's my hot take. That's my hot take. They should have kept Lonnie alive.
yeah, I'm honestly surprised that they killed Cameron because again,
I saw that. Let's talk about Cameron. I don't have Cameron listed. Let's talk about Cameron. I saw that coming because the fans hated him
mm,
for how he treated Allison in 2018. So I saw that coming, and then when it came to, I mean, he did save Hawkins' life. That was something. He connected with Allison. Him and Allison were just there. I mean, honestly, they were just in the movie. Like they were in a bunch of big scenes, but they were just like fucking there. So I was like, yeah, kill him. I didn't give a fuck.
I was honestly just surprised that they did kill him. But yeah, I liked him overall. I thought he was redeemed because he saved Hawkins, which I thought was really brave instead of just like running away. Uh, and he didn't like do any like, oh, I'm trying to get back with you, Allison. Please, get back with me, love me. I'm
I
so
wanted
sorry.
to see
It was
him.
just like it was just back to business. Like, okay, like, listen, I'm sorry for what happened, for what I did, but right now we have to kill Michael Myers, and it
I
was
was
brave.
upset that they didn't show him react to find out that his best friend was dead.
Yeah, I agree that too.
What about the black couple, Vanessa and Marcus?
I think they were likable for sure. I thought they were likable. I think they served their purpose well. They set up that scene with their vehicle outside the bar, um, which is
I didn't get why they were part of the plot. I was like, okay, we saw them for a split second in the last movie. Cool. They were neighbors with Julian, the little badass kid from the last movie.
yeah,
But besides that, like, why are they a part of this militia? Why did they agree to go protect Haddonfield from, like, y'all just moved here. Y'all are new. Like, get in your car and get the fuck out. You don't have kids. Drive the fuck out of
yeah.
Haddonfield. Go get your husband's car and then do a road trip to somewhere else. Go to Chicago. Like, get the fuck out of Dodge, people. Like, I don't understand. I was like, what the fuck is happening? But they were interesting. They were interesting
I mean,
dynamic.
they were there to
I
add to
will
the
say
body
that.
count, but they were still likable characters. I had no problem with them.
What about the sheriff, the black guy?
Ugh.
But I have to say, this is the most black people they've had in Halloween movie like ever.
That's true.
From Diva, from the sheriff to the black couple, but yet you had the glimpse of Julian. I was like, okay, Halloween. What did you think about him?
Um, well, he just sucks as being sheriff compared to Brackett. Clearly, I guess like the Haddonfield police force must have just been like shrunken dramatically because like I guess they have like all the cops at their disposal at that hospital. Um, to the point where there was one of the sheriffs there, one of the cops that's like, "Oh yeah, we called in for assistance from like Warren County and this place and that place, but with no confirmation." So I don't know if they've gone through some massive budget cuts since the first movie, since '78, but yeah, they're just a lot more incompetent. Like even the cops from the '78 from the flashback, like I still think it was really cool that they managed to capture Michael. Um, and I like when every single cop is like pointing their gun and the guy's like, yeah, that's him, that's Michael Myers. Um,
When the militant group, the mob, can track him down and corner him with a retired police chief who is now a security
that's
guard,
like 80, 90 years old.
but the cops can't do it. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm the law in this town. Apparently not, because you ain't did shit the entire time. Like, what the fuck?
Hmm.
Also, why isn't there an all point bulletin? Like, if you're a law in this town, why haven't you made a statement to the entire town? Why haven't you called the governor to be like, Michael Myers is on the fucking loose?
Yeah.
I don't I don't get it. But then let's talk about Sheriff Brackett. R.I.P. Brackett. He got killed
Yeah.
because the second movie he left after he found his daughter, and then we come back to Halloween 4. It's revealed that Sheriff Brackett has left town because his daughter was dead. So now that's all that's been erased, and now we see him get killed. I was like, he brought back Brackett just to kill him,
Just to kill him again.
and that's one of the things that you hate. This is his first time being killed. He never got killed originally. He just left.
That's true. It was nice to see him again. It was nice when he mentioned Lori. Uh, when she was first admitted at the hospital. They don't actually have an encounter, but like I think they mentioned Laurie Strode or some one of the nurses, and he's like turns around, he's like, "Oh, Laurie." But it's nice to have seen them meet up. I like that he says his iconic line, "Everyone is entitled to one good scare," and he's like holding the gun. It's nice that he brought up like the death of his daughter and like I'm not against the whole mob aspect of the story. I just think it was poorly executed. But if there was someone to rally around the mob, it would be Brackett probably. Um, unfortunate that they killed him. Maybe he isn't actually dead. Who knows? Again, I'm still holding on to the vision theory that it didn't actually happen, but we'll see.
I mean, now that we mentioned all of them, like Tommy, Lonnie, Brackett, Miriam, like the fact that they were coming back was like so hyped. It was like so like publicized. Like you brought them back literally just to kill them off one by one, only sparing Lindsay.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck? What about? Well, let's talk about the flashback scene with Loomis. What did you think of them pulling a Princess Leia with Loomis?
I thought his CGI, his character was very well done, and they cut it really well. So you wouldn't have time to like pick out any maybe details that you found were off. I thought it was good. It was good. Whatever, a good model that
I
they
liked
had.
all that. I liked everything but the voice. The voice didn't match for me. Everything else was good.
I just think that Loomis is just one of those people where you just can't mimic his voice. So everyone's gonna have a different take. They already,
Donald Pleasance has like such a unique voice
yeah.
that it's just like
I'm fine with his voice though. I don't think it was anything offensive or anything like that.
I wonder if he's credited for this. Oh, he is. He's credited. Okay, CGI archived audio. Okay, he is. He's credited for this.
Who?
Good, good. Um, Donald Pleasance.
Really?
Yeah, he's credited because apparently they mixed in his likeness and it was for CGI. They also mixed in his voice. So yeah, he gets credit. They
Oh,
better
yeah,
have.
because I know for Luke Skywalker and The Mandalorian, they actually had an EI basically listen to like everything that Mark Hamill has ever said, and then like they had him say like everything that he said in The Mandalorian. So I guess that's what they did for this. They got like all the voice lines from Donald Pleasance and had the computer say that he said that. Um,
Mm,
I don't know, but I thought it was good.
yeah, I enjoyed it. It fit. I was like, okay, this fits. I just hate like the light that they had like around him. I was like, this weird like aurora of light is off putting. Okay, now let's talk about Michael Myers. How
Ooh,
do you like Michael in this movie?
ooh, that's one of the trickiest ones. Um, ooh, I mean, I made my opinions known earlier that I think he was really badass in this movie. And seeing him get up from like the 6 shots and getting beat down, that's all cool when you strip away the context. And without the context, I really liked the character. I really liked all that. But when you add in the context that this was supposed to be true to 78, I think it really harms the character because again, they're going back to the shape. He's the shape. He's a predator. He's not, he could still get hurt, but it's the story is written so you don't see that because he's just so much smarter. He uses his predator instincts to attack at the right moment, you know? Um Using stealth over like strength. Again, Jason is just going to like come after you. He does have like some sneaky kills, but like he's just going to run after you and you're going to see him running after you and that's how he operates because he's the tank. But Michael, he's the guy that you if you sprint from him for like 10, 15 seconds and then you turn around and he's not going to be there anymore. And then, you run him some more and maybe you'll see him again, but he's not the guy that that you're going to fight with 20 shotgun shells and he's going to like get up from that cuz that isn't his character. But they went this route in this movie as being the tank, even though that shouldn't be the intention. So, I mean, I still like Michael Myers. I still think he was badass, but the character is being betrayed.
Yeah, I didn't like he. I thought we were getting away from the whole like the talking beast of a Michael Myers. We're getting away from the whole fucking yeah, we're fucking following Jason around. I thought we were done with that,
Hmm.
but apparently we weren't. So I was like, ah, whatever. I hated it. I just based off what they were presenting, what they wanted us to believe from the last movie, I was like, this is a fat betrayal. But whatever. I was like, cool.
Yeah.
But that's all the characters. Do you have any hot takes?
Do I have any hot takes? I mean, I know that this movie is being panned by like the hardcore Halloween community. I don't know.
It deserves it.
I don't know why I still like it. I like it more than Halloween 2018. That's for sure. Um.
It's the flashbacks. The flashbacks adds the element. It gives it something. The scenes with Lindsay gives it something. But overall, like
Mhm.
the movie, you could take out all the hospital scenes, and the movie would be good. Like if they would have just left, my hot take, leave Laurie in a coma, and leave Laurie in a coma, and just have everyone run around after her. Like, just leave Laurie in a coma, get rid of all the hospital scenes, get rid of the mental patient scenes, have it be focused on Tommy, Lindsay, Karen, Allison doing exactly what they did, trying to go hunt down Michael, go find Michael, and it'd be a good movie. Take out all the hospital shit. None of that was needed. Like, keep the first scene of her going to the hospital, show the scene with her in surgery, say she went into a medically induced coma, and just leave all the hospital shit out of it and just have all the mob stuff. That makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't do that. What about you? What's your hot take?
Uh, I don't really have any, to be honest, for this movie.
Your hot take is that you like this movie.
My hot take is that I still enjoy it. I think it's going to become it's a guilty pleasure for me. I like because Michael's pretty badass. If you strip away the context, like Michael is admittedly cool in this movie. You can't deny that. I don't nobody can tell me like, oh, Michael sucks. Hell no, you're just letting your bias. We can discuss all the problems and the flaws, but Michael was pretty cool in this movie, and like probably like
I mean, he was taking people out.
exactly taking
He
people
was.
out left and right. So um,
Mm-hmm.
that is an endorsement in this movie though. But yeah, I still like it personally. It's a guilty pleasure for moi, for me.
Well, since the movie is still out, there's not much like critic reviews. I mean, it's getting mixed reviews online on like social media and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Most people hate it. There are a select few who like it. Uh, the budget was 20 million. They've already made 54.8 million in the U.S. alone. So it doesn't really matter because they're already filmed. Halloween Ends. They're already in post production on that. Actually, David Gordon Green said the Halloween Ends has fully been completed. The
Okay.
editing, the sound mixing, it's all done. Just waiting to be released next year in October 2023. So
Oh, cool.
we have that to look forward to. But before we sound off, do you have a review out of 5?
A solid 3.5 for me.
You're giving it 3. I thought you were gonna give it higher than that.
No, I
I'm
think
I'm
3
kind of
point.
I'm kind of surprised.
I like 3.5 of this movie. I don't think it's a 4. I don't think it's a 4. But I think a 3.5, I
Well,
think,
hell no.
implies that I still enjoy it, even though it has flaws.
The movie overall gets a 1.5,
You're giving it a
and
one and a
then
half?
no, the movie overall on its own as its completed project 1.5.
Oh, okay.
Now the flashbacks, just the flashbacks, I'm giving them a 2. So together, overall, I give it a 3.
Okay.
Because for me, the flashbacks is the movie I wanted to see.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a movie. It's a movie that I feel like they should just make. They should just. We wouldn't mind like a sequel set in the past, like because based off the CGI and shit, it looked great. Like, just do that.
Yeah.
I'd have been okay with that. But that wraps us up. We've done it. We launched this podcast with covering the Halloween franchise leading up to this, and we made it. We made the Halloween kills.
Yep.
In 2 weeks, we're jumping on to the Scream franchise. Given that there are only 4, about to be 5 movies in the Scream franchise, we're going to be releasing episodes bi-weekly. So be on the lookout for that. And we're going to be joined by some special guests in those episodes. So we're excited for you guys to continue this journey with us as we leave Haddonfield and we take a little road trip down to Woodsboro.
Let's go.
Peace. The Haddonfield Horrors Podcast is a Letters to Media production. Should we do an intro?